Alex dragged his suitcase down the dimly lit corridor, squinting at the numbers on each door. 217, 219, 221. He sighed with relief as he reached room 223, fumbling with the key card. It had been a long day of travel, and all Alex wanted was to crash on a bed. Any bed. The hostel wasn't exactly five-star accommodation, but it was cheap and close to the museum where he'd be interning for the summer. The lock clicked, and Alex pushed open the door, immediately wrinkling his nose at the musty smell that greeted him. The room was small, with peeling wallpaper and a single bed pushed against the wall. A dusty mirror hung crookedly above a rickety desk. "Home sweet home," Alex muttered, tossing his backpack onto the bed. He'd unpack tomorrow. Right now, sleep was calling his name. As he was about to flop onto the bed, a muffled thump from next door caught his attention. Alex paused, listening. It sounded like it came from room 225, at the very end of the hall. Another thump, followed by what sounded like scratching. Alex frowned. Maybe someone's pet got locked in. Curiosity overcame fatigue. Alex stepped back into the hallway, approaching room 225. The scratching grew louder, more frantic. He raised his hand to knock, then hesitated. Something felt off. The door to 225 was different from the others. The paint was darker, peeling in long strips like clawed marks. The brass numbers were tarnished almost black. As Alex stood there, debating whether to knock or mind his own business, the noises suddenly stopped. The silence that followed was oppressive, as if the very air was holding its breath. Then, a voice from inside the room, low and raspy, barely above a whisper. "I can smell you out there." Alex stumbled back, his heart pounding. He hurried back to his own room, slamming the door shut and engaging every lock. Sleep didn't come easily that night. Alex tossed and turned, his dreams plagued by scratching noises and whispering voices. He woke with a start around 3 a.m., drenched in sweat. The room was pitch black, but something felt wrong. Alex reached for his phone, fumbling to turn on the flashlight. The beam illuminated a figure standing at the foot of his bed. It was humanoid, but wrong in ways Alex's mind struggled to process. Its limbs were too long, joints bending at unnatural angles. Its face was a blur, features shifting and melting like wax. Alex opened his mouth to scream, but no sound came out. The creature tilted its head, regarding him with eyes that glowed faintly in the darkness. "You shouldn't have come here," it said in that same raspy whisper from before. "This place, it changes people." The thing moved closer, its movements jerky and unnatural. Alex pressed himself against the headboard, unable to look away. "What are you?" he managed to choke out. The creature's face settled into a grotesque approximation of a smile. "I was like you once, a guest, but I stayed too long. We all did." As it spoke, more shapes emerged from the shadows, twisted, warped figures that had once been human. They surrounded the bed, reaching for Alex with gnarled hands. "Join us," they whispered in unison. "Become one with the hostel." Alex screwed his eyes shut, praying this was just another nightmare. When he opened them again, sunlight was streaming through the grimy window. The room was empty. For a moment, Alex almost convinced himself it had all been a bad dream. Then he noticed the long, deep scratches on the inside of the door. With shaking hands, he grabbed his phone to call a cab. He had to get out of this place. As he was throwing his clothes haphazardly into his suitcase, a notification popped up on his screen. It was from the hostel's automated system. "Thank you for choosing to extend your stay with us. Your booking has been updated to indefinite." Alex's blood ran cold. He hadn't extended anything. He ran to the door, yanking on the handle. It wouldn't budge. From somewhere down the hall, he heard that familiar scratching begin again. Closer this time, coming for him. As the sound drew nearer, Alex realized with growing horror that he recognized the rhythm. It matched the frantic pounding of his own heart. The hostel had claimed another guest, and it would never let him leave.